I think we're live. I just want to rock out a little bit to some Caleb and John. Woo! Happy New Year! Some days I climb the mountains, some days I touch the clouds, some days my best friend has been the cold, hard ground. I am so in love with this song, and I'm so in love with this strategy. So, those of you who know me know that I am a woman with a plan, and I'm a dreamer, yet executing towards that dream is what brings me the greatest degree of joy because I know that how we do things matters a lot. I'm Dr. J. I'm the founder of Building Brilliance and most recently the creator of High Performance Leadership Academy, a place where we embrace the fact that we are all leaders. Each and every day, we are empowered to lead our lives. In my doctoral research, I studied leading in a culture of innovation and change. And one of the models or archetypes that I came up with was what I call the empowered leadership model. And if you picture three nested circles, the largest circle stands for self, then a smaller nested circle, others, and an even smaller circle, leaders. I'd love for you to kick off this year as a learner, grab your journal, draw it with me. Self, and that means each and every day, every single one of us leads ourselves. Then the nested smaller circle inside, others. Some of us have the great honor of leading others. And then even smaller circle inside that one is leaders. I've had the honor of doing all three of those things. And I can honestly tell you that leading myself is the hardest person I've ever had to lead in my life. So today we're going to talk about how to do that effectively. And let's make it fun. Can I just say the world's been a little hard lately? And instead of making things a little harder than they need to be, I'm going to invite you to choose ease and flow this year. I'm going to share my screen because I did prepare a few slides because we all learn best visually. So I have some slides for those of you listening via podcast. I encourage you to tune in to my YouTube channel, Shift Happens, so that you can learn more effectively. You will actually have 8 times greater memory and retention if you incorporate visuals in your learning. So with that, let's go. Oops. I am in my New Year playlist and I'm so excited. Let me real quick. I apologize. We are homestead sitting and I've got some dogs barking at my daughter. So I'm just messaging her really quickly. I apologize. Thank you for your patience. So happy New Year. It's 2024, my friends. I want to invite you to be a leader of your life. So as we talked about each and every day, we lead the most difficult person on the planet, and that's ourselves. The best leaders in the world are learners. And so I celebrate you for being here. It's easy to wake up and hustle and hurry through the day. To practice silence and stillness and to incorporate learning into your life is mission critical. People always ask me how I've achieved such high degrees of success, going from the walls of the classroom, founding a school, founding downtown Denver's very first elementary school, leading innovation grants for the lieutenant governor, supporting innovation across the state of Colorado, having opportunities to advise the Gates Foundation and White House, and then developing a learning and performance department to serve and support leaders across the globe in 13 countries in a fast-paced, high-stakes environment that was solving one of the world's greatest tech challenges, identity and access management. And so my career has been a joy-filled journey where I'm constantly pushing the edges of my comfort zone to determine and discover the absolute best of myself. And the way that I do that is through routines. So I want to invite you at the end of this training. I'm going to invite you to what I call L, your extraordinary life edit. And we're going to cover in that program the great 8 dimensions of life. We're going to cover the 4-step framework for actually setting a New Year's resolution that you can achieve. Only 9% of Americans that set resolutions actually achieve them. I want you positioned to be an achiever, my friend. The world's highest performers are happier, healthier, and less stressed than their peers. And they're not different than you and I. They condition themselves. And so I'm here to help you do that. Happy New Year. Let's kick this off So as I mentioned, every day we lead. Here's the empowered leadership model for you. You can screenshot that, pull it into your notes. But as I mentioned, we all lead ourselves. And that's the most difficult person on the planet to lead. Humans are complex beings. Quit beating yourself up, embrace the complexity of it and say, I'm being complex right now, and I'm going to make shift happen, keep it simple, and choose love, or whatever your word for the year might be. So as I mentioned, 9% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. So I want to invite you to think about your life through the normal distribution curve. Yes, I'm a geeky scholar. So take that normal distribution curve, draw it in your notes. And anytime you're facing a challenge this year, I want you to think to yourself, what would most people do? And then what would the best version of myself do? What would the highest level of consciousness, how would the highest level of my consciousness respond in this circumstance? I had a situation arise just yesterday. I mean, it happens every single day to each and every one of us, right? Something comes up. It is disruptive, and you have a choice to let it distract and derail you, which will place you in the mediocre middle. That is what most people will choose to do. Or you have the choice to choose love, to respond from the highest version of yourself, to evolve your level of consciousness and know this is part of my journey. It's part of what I'm learning. I'm going to elevate myself above this noise and choose to be extraordinary. And you will face challenges this year. The world around us is noisy and filled with a lot of negativity. So this is the skill that I think you need to develop this year. Period, hands down. If you have to develop one skill, it's your normal distribution curve thought map. I just made that up. I need something fun to call this. If you have an idea, type it in the chat. I'd love to co-name this with you. And I want you to think about as I was talking to one of my former students who I love so, so very much. Shout out, Sammy. I love you, sweet girl. I think of her as my first daughter. She literally, I just fell in love with her. Not the moment we met. She was a really difficult kid, and she knows that. I know that. Everybody who knows her knows that. But I fell in love with her as I got to know her, because just like any other human, those that have some of the most challenging behaviors are the ones that need the most love. And as a teacher, I knew that. And as I started to love on Sammy, I started to see a different version of Sammy. And that was so incredibly special to me. And I bought her this book, Stargirl, because Stargirl was this wonderful, out of the box outlier in the world. And so was Sammy. So I was using bibliotherapy to teach her about herself. And later, fast forward, she ends up saving her money to go to one of those clay pottery places and made me a Stargirl plate. I still have it. As I packed to move, I found that and sent a picture of it to her. And I thought, I just love you, my sweet Sammy. I've kept every love note she's written me. And when she asked me to be her mom, I was absolutely honored. So I consider her my first daughter, and she considers Gigi her sister. And it is so sweet. On Gigi's 10th birthday, she actually got her a book, the Stargirl book and journal that I had bought for her when she was 10. So such a special ritual. And as I was talking to Sammy, I realized that a lot of what I learned in education applies to achieving high degrees of success. So the first is to think beyond your academic goal or your career goal, right? Those are intellectual goals. They're things that cognitively we want to achieve. And so what I learned from Chris Ahern, my very first principal that I worked with professionally, I had a lot of principals that I worked with volunteering in schools and doing my practicum and student teaching. But the first principal that I was having regular one-on-ones with, that I had performance reviews with, was a gentleman named Chris Ahern. And if someone could help me get this to Chris, I would love to give him just the warmest, deepest thank you. Chris would draw this sketch that you see on the right in his journal. It was just a stick figure that represented a child. And we said that we were about educating the whole child. We educate them intellectually or academically, I believe was what he put. I used intellectually because we're adult learners. And that we also educate them physically, socially, and emotionally. So physically, that's that nutritional development, it's sleep development, it's energy management. In high performance research, we call that physiology, right? And we manage those things with great intention. We build routines around them with great intention. I'm going to teach you how to do that in my pop-up training for High Performance Leadership Academy. And I'm calling it the Extraordinary Life Edit, or L, because you don't need a whole reinvention. You just need small edits and tweaks to incrementally stack habits that will get you to the most incredible levels of success that you never imagined. I've lived it. I never imagined myself as a struggling single mom who was broke as a joke and literally couldn't afford grapes, because that is an expensive fruit. Can I tell you, you can't get out of the grocery store with a bag of grapes for under $4 to $6. You can buy a lot of bananas for that much. So I realized that I wanted to achieve financial freedom and I didn't know how to do it. And I've spent years studying how the best in the world design their lives and careers to achieve high levels of success. And I was so excited that the last chapter or season of my goals brought me the opportunity as a single woman on a solo income with $0 of child support or maintenance to buy my own $1.5 million house, to put a horse in the yard for my daughter, to manage a barn. We did things that are mind blow emoji that I never thought back then that I could do. So as I look back at who I once was, I know that some of you I'm speaking to are sitting in that seat. You've got the great job, you've got the great kids, and yet you're still struggling, and you struggle in silence. And I don't want that for you. And I'm going to tell you what I've built so that you have the opportunity to be a part of a community that uplifts, that leads one another to the most extraordinary destinations that we don't even know yet. And as I thought about that, I thought, man, I didn't have that on my 3 to 5 year strategic plan. Every year I use the Great 8 Dimensions of Life. I write a destination declaration. I have a 12-page strategic plan aligned with a vision, a why, and commitments for each of the 8 dimensions. I take that very seriously. And I think that is why I've achieved high levels of success. And that's why I'm going to teach that process in the Extraordinary Life Edit. However, what I also realized is that my New Year's resolutions and goals did not have to be that complex. This year, I need simplicity. And so as I was striving for simplicity, I thought, wait a minute, this could actually be fun and simple, because how you achieve your goals is what matters most. The goals and targets will move and change. The World Economic Forum forecasts 95 million new jobs by 2025. There will be new opportunities that you don't know exist, so you can't put them on your goal list. There's going to be things that happen in your children's lives that you didn't anticipate, things that happen with your partner or spouse that you didn't anticipate, things that happen in the workplace that you didn't anticipate. So let's loosen our grip on the goals. And instead, I'm going to invite you to do this. So let's go, friends. And I want you to think about the wholeness of yourself, the intellectual self, the physical self, the social and emotional self that you carry, right? And those are the areas that you should be working on developing each and every day. We spend a lot of time in the intellectual, in the career and family, and thinking about those things. We spend some time in the physical, nourishing our bodies with healthy foods, developing fitness routines that help us be strong and health and have vibrant energy and health. And we manage our sleep. So that physical piece gets a lot of our attention as well. Social gets quite a bit of attention. But it's haphazard and undirected attention. I want you to think more intentionally about your social interactions. The world's highest performers have clarity around 3 areas. One is themselves. The second is their interactions with others. So as you develop your social intelligence this year, I want you to be intentional about how you're interacting with others. How can your words uplift? That's my word of the year. How can your words be uplifting to others so that we raise the vibrational energy around us? And then emotional. Thank you, Brene Brown, for counting all 87. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot the number. It's 86 or 87. Type it in the chat. Remind me. I need a reminder. 87 emotions. That's a lot. In her research, she found that most people can name only 3: happy, sad, and mad. Yet we need a more sophisticated language to see our emotions in action, to say, oh, that's how I'm feeling. I need to redirect that or allow for it to pass, practice the awareness of the emotion. I'm seeing myself, I'm feeling anxious right now. I know this will pass, and let that let pass. I think of emotions like clouds across the beautiful horizon. In Colorado, we get a lot of weather. And so just picturing Colorado's vibrant blue sky and whatever that emotion is, just letting it pass, the good ones and the bad ones. And greater evolved consciousness teaches me that those emotions aren't good or bad. They just are. So just be the awareness of letting these emotions, things that we perceive to be good, things we perceive to be bad or negative, just pass and know that that's part of the human experience. It doesn't define you. I also am a big believer that we have to talk about our finances, because it was through a conversation with a gentleman named Kevin King that I learned, wow, I could make a lot more money than I am right now. So I was in that struggling, broke as a joke educator mindset. And when he started sharing we were talking about work. And when he started sharing what he does, I got curious and I said, how did you get into that field? Could you tell me a little bit more about how your career developed? And as we spoke, I said, do you mind if I ask a real personal question? How much do you get paid to do that kind of thing? I know money's a personal thing, but as a broke as a joke educator, I'm out trying to explore options. I need to be able to provide for my daughter. I don't mean to be overstepping, yet I'm curious. And I'm wondering if you could help me understand the world outside of my field of expertise. And that's when I learned there's a lot of money in this world, and I didn't have to be broke as a joke. So what you see on the right is the Economic Policy Institute's earnings for the top % of earners. And it was interesting because I was in a conversation with my coach and mentor who, in that moment, she said, why are you behaving like the broke as a joke educator you used to be when you're now in the top 10% of earners? And I was shocked. I went, I'm in the top 10%. You've got to be kidding me. Because I was still attached to the person I was who couldn't afford grapes or the fancy fruit snacks, the ones with no high fructose corn syrup. All the kids had those in their lunches. And when I joined Gigi at lunch, I would see all these fancy packed lunches, and we had things that were really simple and really healthy. And I thought, wow, I've made it. I've made it to the top 10% of earners. That's incredible. And I put that in perspective and thought, wow, I live in one of the best countries in the world, the most advanced intellectually, the most advanced technologically. I mean, we live in a very beautiful, developed society. Are there things that are absolutely wrong? Yes, but I choose building brilliance is my life's mantra. I choose to contribute to the brilliance of the world, to reveal and discover my brilliance every day, and I would inspire others to do the same. That is my life's mission. And so I thought, wow, if I'm in the top 10%, I wonder if I can make it to the top 1%. And so I'm on my way. And it's incredible once you set that goal for yourself, what you can actually achieve. So I want you to pick your percent. You see 9% at the top of the screen. That represents the percentage of people who will actually achieve their goals this year. Yet listen to everybody talking, right? I don't want you talking the talk. I want you walking the walk. So let's look at your whole self. Take a screenshot of that. Draw the stick figure in your journal, intellectual, physical, social, emotional. Focus on all of the facets of yourself. And then pick your percent. We're going to chase our goals with ambition and tenacity. And I want to position you as a leader. As I mentioned, each and every one of us lead the most difficult person on the planet, yet the majority of us have not had leadership development skills. And it's those skills that will set you apart in this world. They'll give you the set apart heart if you believe in scripture and you practice spirituality or religion in your life. If you aspire to have that set apart heart and live in a way that makes this world a better place, that might be your calling. Or maybe you aspire to prepare yourself for promotion or career change. You definitely need to be building leadership skills. These are the essential skills that determine whether you're hired or not. So let's focus on them. The 4 things that set great leaders apart are the actions they take, the results they achieve. We're going to talk about that in the Extraordinary Life Edit and High Performance Leadership Academy. What are the routines and rituals you should have in your day? How do you perform in the workplace so that you're preparing yourself constantly for promotion? Those are really fun things to study. My favorite, which is what we're going to talk about today in a very simple way, is how they think and who they are. Those are the behind the scenes things. I think about it like an iceberg through systems thinking and dynamic modeling. So as an iceberg, you see the tip or the event. That's the actions and results part. Beneath the surface, you see the mental models, the patterns of behavior, That's where we want to dig deep. And that's what I've spent the last 2 decades studying is what are the best in the world? What mental models do they carry? What patterns of behavior do they exhibit so that they can achieve these high levels of support? Isn't that what we all want? We all see others. It's why we get excited and we emote with people in movies, with athletes scoring on the field. Those things excite us because that's what we're designed for. We're designed to achieve extraordinary things, yet we walk out into the world with our routines not set with intention. And so I want you to think about using this year to change that. This diagram you see on the left is called a causal loop diagram. It's a visual archetype to help you remember an important concept. So the plus indicates increase. The R in the middle indicates that it's a reinforcing loop. There's 2 types of causal loops, reinforcing and balancing. Reinforcing is when the loop is doing the same thing, either increasing on both details or decreasing. Balancing is when one is increasing, one is decreasing. Enough with the boring logistics. That was just for my fellow geeks who have to know, how does this work? That was my question when I first saw these. So I want to answer the small details that you see. The hashtags indicate a time delay. So that's kind of just a little bit of a linguistic overview of that archetype. But in a nutshell, what this means is the more clarity you have, as you increase your clarity, you will increase the amount of courageous action you take. And as that courageous action increases, you get greater clarity on who you are, what you're capable of, and your potential. And then you take some more courageous action, and then you get more clarity. And over time, this leads to insane confidence. And the more confident you become, the more clear you are about what is worth pursuing, and most importantly, what is not worth pursuing. And that is in career, that is in the distractions that come across your desk, that is in the things that come at you that may derail your life. This archetype is important in every single dimension of your life. I literally used it yesterday. So I want you to memorize this, sketch it in your journal, screenshot it. Think the reason I put it in an archetype, I could have put in bullets, right? You'd see most trainers put this in bullets. Increased clarity leads to courageous action. Over time, this leads to confidence. That's what it would sound like in a training or in a book. A visual is so much more effective in helping you remember it because you will see clarity, courageous action. Oh yeah, right now I need to get clear about who am I going to be in this moment? Who am I going to be in this challenge? Who am I going to be as I pursue this goal wholeheartedly and go all in this year? What courageous action can I take from there? If you can memorize this and start putting that into practice, you'll achieve any goal that you set forth to achieve. Your goals are going to change. So let's put a goal out there that is not changing, and that is to gain clarity on who you are, not what you're going to do, but who you are. So this is my grand plan for the new year. I chose 3. I'm a big believer. You know me and my 3 words. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I choose 3 words. Anytime I lead a training, I have people pick 3 words. There's a pre-work. What 3 words describe your most amazing, awesome self? And then use a doorway transition challenge. Every time you walk through a doorway, you repeat those 3 words to yourself. That's some BF Skinner operant conditioning for you. So it's a fun little strategy to help you become the best version of yourself as possible. My 3 words for the past couple years have been vibrant, bold, connected. Vibrant because that is a word that describes me naturally. And it's a word that is special to me because there's been environments and where I've encountered bullies who told me not to be so energetic, not to be so optimistic, not to be so happy all the time. And it dulled my sunshine when I was in those environments. And so the word vibrant, when I was in this training with Brendan Burchard, there's hundreds of us in the room. We'd all paid 5 figures to be there. And as we're talking, and I thought, this is the best version of myself. Brendan, thank you, my friend. Thank you for creating the environments that allow the best of us to shine. It was your tools that helped me beat cancer. I would be sitting here bald today in the aftermath of chemo, but I changed the trajectory of my disease through food and biobehavioral choices that I didn't even know were a thing. And so I put my scholarly research geek hat on and I got to town. I used the clarity chart, I used the influence worksheet, and I mapped out my plan and my strategy. So Brendan, my deepest thanks. You and the kindness of your team who showed me so much love and support meant the world to me. in this last year as I fought that battle with all my might. And not only did I change the trajectory of my disease with food, so instead of a full mastectomy, 3 to 4 months of radiation and chemo, I ended up getting a lumpectomy, 4 weeks of radiation, no chemo. My oncotype said, you don't need it. My whole body had changed. My margins were clear. My lymph nodes were clear. So I paired the best of Western medicine with my team in Chicago, Dr. Block. Thank you. And thank you for your team. Thank you for creating the Block Center and pursuing an intellectual standard that is far beyond what most people in the world carry. And through pairing my Western medicine with these biobehavioral functional medicines, I'm sitting here today, just past, it's been a few months ago, I guess, but passed through all 6 doctors, green light, only 3% chance of recurrence, which is so low. All of us have cancer cells in our bodies, and the average person probably carries that. So I am cancer-free, happy as can be, ready for a big, big year. And so I'm very grateful to those who have taught me. And so vibrant was the word that I discovered in Brendan's training. Bold was my stretch word. I knew that it's easier to choose comfort. It's hard to be bold. There's certain environments that just make it darn impossible to be bold, it seems like. But with that word and conditioning myself intentionally, I've been able to take bold action. It was bold, courageous action that said, go ahead, move to the country. Why not? And it's bold, courageous action that told me, sell your home. It was a lot of stress managing 5 acres as a single mom and managing 5-figure mortgage and running the farm and house. That's a lot. And I realized I am actually more stressed than I realized. And it was thanks to a wonderful human who had the courage to say, are you sure this is what you want? And I said, absolutely. Look at Gigi out there. And he said, are you sure this is what she wants? And I said, yeah, absolutely. This is what she wants. Who wouldn't want this? And he goes, have you asked her? And I thought, wow. I'd made that assumption. And when I had that conversation with my daughter, she said, Mom, I just want you to be less stressed. And in that moment, I realized we spent the majority of our lives in hurry and hustle. We were always doing things. And so I decided it is time to get strategic and simplify. We can have the horse somewhere else and still enjoy riding, yet not have to spend all of our time maintaining the property, maintaining a 5,800 square foot home, maintaining the acreage. There's a lot that happens. Certain weeds, you don't know this as a city person like I was. Certain weeds start growing out in the country. Then we're in a high wind zone. Those winds carry certain particles across the field. And you want to know what happens if you don't take care of that? Your neighbors get real upset. I heard neighbors talking about that. And I thought, okay, what were those called again? I'm going to get that taken care of on my property. So there's just a lot of little things that we've had to manage. Woodpeckers. Who know? Those little things come and they are destructive beings. Oh my goodness. So many things. Mice in the walls. As a city girl, I never have mice in my walls. I'm like, what on earth is happening here? So those are some of the things that we've learned and navigated. We learned how to set up a barn, how to raise ducks, how to raise chickens, little stir fry and teriyaki. That's what we named them. It was so much fun. So I want to encourage you to stretch, be bold this year, do things that you never thought you could do. Have a conversation with someone that is 180 degrees different than you. They say the best way to change your life is to change your zip code. And nothing could be more true. The lessons that I learned in our country adventure changed who I am as a person. And I'm so grateful. It was one of the best life experiences about putting people first. In a year and a half, no one asked me what I did for a living. People cared about me. People cared about my daughter. People called on the phone to just say hi. They didn't want anything. I'm like, why is this person calling? I guess I'll answer it. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? She just wanted to say hello. Go ahead and do that. Can I just say it makes the world a better place? It was amazing. I have learned more than I probably realize in this moment. And I'm starting to journal about the lessons that I learned. So you want to change your life, change your zip code. Then my third word was connected. And I'll always carry the words vibrant, bold, connected. I lived those ever since I developed them with Brendan in 2019. They've been my words. I repeat them every time I walk through a doorway. They show up as an alert on my phone at 3 o'clock every afternoon, because that's kind of the witching hour where you wish it was 5 and you're starting to get tired and you're like, nope, I'm vibrant, bold, connected. Let's redirect. Operant conditioning. You are always conditioning yourself. So with that, this year I thought I've had those words for a really long time. I'll carry them, but I want a different word. And I thought, you know what? The number one thing that I learned in the country was love. I learned to love myself more, to learn to love others more and judge less. So that is my number one guiding word, is to always see love and choose love. My next word that's not comfortable is adventure. I'm in a space where we can live anywhere. We can work anywhere. We can be anywhere. Yet I want to play safe and stay with the known. And so adventure is my bold stretch word. I like to sandwich that stretch word right in between two other words that make me feel a little more stable and confident. And then the last one is surrender. This word, I don't know if this one's going to be on my list for several years. I have a feeling. God, you know that. Thank you for being patient with me. I really struggle with surrender. As you can tell, I'm leading a training on how to control and manifest your goals for the year. Set them, achieve them, let's execute, go. And surrender sometimes is really important for you to slow down and be still and allow certain things to happen. Pay attention to God working through people and notice who's in your life and why. What is their energetic vibrancy? Do they want what's best for you? Or are they someone who's trying to manipulate or shape you in a way that doesn't feel authentic? You can only feel that when you're in stillness and when you're calm. So I traded hurry and hustle of my city life for silence and surrender and simplicity. And those things are the place from which I make the best decisions. So I now have a lot of routines in my life that have been new this last year and a half that I've now stacked onto previous routines to continue the evolution of myself and my growth. And surrender is one that I want to work on this year. My overall word that is guiding everything I do is uplift. There's a song by Hawk Nelson that I used to use. I used to cut the lyrics and put them in my course syllabus when I taught graduate school. And it says, let my words be light, let my words be truth. I don't want to say a word unless it points the world back to you. I obviously eliminated the religious aspects of the song for the sake of education, but it's this, if you Google Hawk Nelson words, listen to that song, feel the vibrational energy. Google Dr. Emoto crystals water research, and you will literally see images of water crystals that are shaped by words. We're going to talk about this in High Performance Leadership Academy. So get yourself signed up, because we're going to capture our words with great intention. And so for me, my goal is every word I speak is uplifting. Am I going to perfectly achieve that goal? I guarantee not, right? I'm human. However, with that as my intention, with that as my doorway transition, and I'm conditioning myself with intention, uplift, 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 uplift. Eventually that will become the way I think. Remember, and that's one of the 4 things that set great leaders apart. They're learning how to control and manipulate their thinking for the better. So those are my words. I also decided, one of the things I thought, okay, forget all the goals. If I can choose to show up as the best of myself in any circumstance, I'll achieve that goal. So the goal, or what, is less important than who I choose to be. So that's why your words are important. That's the fun part, my friends, because you're getting to choose who you're going to be this year. Isn't that so much more fun than a list of tasks, goals, and aligned vision? I mean, I'm all a fan of mission, vision, operating principles. I love that stuff. However, as I sat with these goals, I thought there's just a lot of unknown and uncertainty that made it difficult for me to capture and articulate them. So I thought, all right, I'm going to stick to 3 words. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to choose love, adventure, and surrender. And I'll probably change those a million times before I land on them. That's before I landed on vibrant, bold, connected. I literally had an entire page of my journal filled with words. It was like a big artistic word wall. And some of them I chose bold. I wanted the word courage. but bold includes courage in its definition. So I still have to geek out a little bit. It's only the 4th day of the year, so I haven't fully geeked out on my 3 words yet. Those of you joining me in High Performance Leadership Academy, you'll see how these evolve, and I'll share that story with you. Then I thought, you know what? As I think about the vibrational energy that I want to bring, I was in New Year's training with Brendan and he played Higher Love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, I really wish God had given me the gift of a voice because I would love to sing for you and just belt it out and have it sound good. But it's okay. You can sing even if you don't have the greatest voice. So sing with me loud and proud. Bring me a higher love. You look at those lyrics and it is powerful. And those lyrics resonate with me. I could feel as those words were playing in Brendan's training, I could feel my vibration lifting. And I thought, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if I could lift my vibrational energy every day to achieve my goals? Yeah, that would be helpful, right? It's the routines that get us. There's a 4-step framework. We're going to cover this in the Extraordinary Life Edit. But there is the routines is the part between goals and you're achieving your desires that actually determine whether you achieve them or not. Most people don't know this or focus on this, which is why 91% of people don't achieve their New Year's resolutions. So 3 words that describe your most amazing self, and then put together a little song list. For me, it was initially 3 songs, but this morning I decided to add 1 more because I needed it and I love it. So pick the songs, spend some time being thoughtful about this because you're going to listen to them every single day. That's going to be your challenge this week. Every day, listen to 2 to 4 or 5 songs. And I just listen to them while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm doing my hair. This isn't an extra task. It's something that makes my normal task more vibrant and more energetic. So I listen to Higher Love. I ignite that higher frequency in myself. Then I listen to I Ain't Worried. I don't know what it is about that song, whether it's that I'm a child of the 80s and I love Top Gun, or if it's just, it makes me shed whatever I'm worried about. We naturally, we catastrophize and we ruminate. Those are 2 psychological traits that we all carry as human beings. And so the song I Ain't Worried helps me kind of shake it off. Those things that are on my mind, weighing me down. The song says, I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. And I just let it go. I belt that out as I'm blow drying or curling my hair, and I just let the worries go. I'm keeping my dreams alive. I'm not worrying. Do you see how these are forming your belief systems in a way that's super fun and exciting? The next one is the greatest love of all. So when I got out of Brendan's training and I put Higher Love into YouTube to listen to it as I finished doing my homework for him, the next song that played automatically was Greatest Love of All. And I got to tell you, friends, that song gets me every time. I love kids more than anything on the planet. There is nothing more beautiful to me than seeing a child learn something for the first time, share kindness with another child. They're just kids are so present. And I've had the honor of kid watching and studying the best schools for early learning across the globe. And I'll never forget being at Reggio Emilia in Italy and watching these little kids talk like, and then what happened next? And they were so deeply connected to each other, sharing their hearts about this situation that had happened where they'd fall down and go boom. Someone fell down and went boom. And then they had this whole conversation that ensued. And in that song, it says, I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. And I just thought, isn't that what our world's about? Can we apply some of the lessons that we know from teaching children to our work with adults? And I thought, yeah, that's true. I believe that humans are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them that sense of pride. That's what building brilliance is all about. I've had learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. That quote is at the base of my 12-page strategic plan, and it has been for as long as I can remember from when I started doing that in 2009. Amazing to me. And then the last 2 are my rocket get ready for the day. Hallelujah feeling. There's nothing better than that song, I think. I mean, he's just like, I got that hallelujah feeling down in my soul. I mean, there's you ask God to work through you. Woo, look out, world. This is gonna be a big year. And then one that this last one, the reason that I pulled it today was because I was having a tough time with something. And uh I don't know how much of this to fully disclose on the internet. However, we've all had bad bosses, right? There was one period of time where I had a really difficult boss, and I remember vividly, I was driving down 70 and I was going to this meeting with this individual, and I did not want to go. And I thought, gosh, it might be time for me to start thinking about something else, kind of thing. And, people quit people, they don't quit their job or their, role. And, so this song, Old Church Choir, came on K-Love Radio as I was driving down, and I cranked it up. Because in that song, it says, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. I got an old church choir singing in my soul. And I went to Baptist church as a kid, and that old church choir, man, they're vibrant, And I just thought, yeah, no matter what happens in my day, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy this year. And so that's my song list. I want you to create your song list and I want to see it. Send it to me, DM me, put it in the comments, whatever you feel comfortable with. I know some of us are extroverts and we want everyone to see, and that's fine. Others are like, I got my songs. I have people who text me their homework, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. So you can text me, send me a message through Facebook Messenger, put it in the comments if you feel bold and courageous. I encourage you to do that, even if you don't feel bold and courageous. Emmy, I want to shout out to you, girl, because in the masterclass, you didn't want to play bold and courageous, but you did because of the reason why. Here's why we have to play bold and courageous, especially as women. When we do that, we give others permission to do the same. I learned from Joseph Renzulli, an expert in gifted education, who says, a rising tide raises all ships. What he was talking about was raising the academic standard for the classroom, and that all children would benefit from that. And I took that to mean also that when we boldly and courageously pursue our goals, we raise the tide around us. We raise the tide in our families and show our children, our sisters and brothers, even our parents and grandparents, what's possible. Even our aunts and uncles, for crying out loud. We raise the tide for all of our family, for all of our community, for all of our friends, for all of the people that we encounter in the workplace. Be that rising tide. As humans, we're inspired to do things for others. And when you can connect in your mind why you're working so hard to the benefit of others, you will be so incredibly happy. And then this shout out is to Natalie Ellis. She asked a question that was, what is your North Star? And hers was about freedom. And I thought, I really value freedom. I value time and financial freedom more than anything. That's what I train my programs to empower high achievers to achieve time and financial freedom. So it would have been easy for me to go, yep, that's me too. I'll put that down in my homework. Freedom, that's it. As I started to think about it, though, one of the things that has been newer to me, starting in 2022, when my daughter asked, why don't we go to church? And then we started going to church, and I started to be kind of irritated by certain things that, as an intellect and scholar, didn't make sense to me. And I thought, you know what? I'm just sick of being sick of being bothered by these things. So I'm going to be open-minded and let it go and just embrace. And her barber told me this great thing. She said, it's relationships, not religion. Don't get stuck on religion. Build your relationship with God. And so I did. And God has done some absolutely incredible and amazing things in my life. Opened doors that I didn't even know were there. Placed people. Acts tells us that he chooses our neighbors, chooses where he places us. And I thought, oh my gosh, he placed me among some of the best people who carried me through cancer, that without barely even knowing me. He put me in the place that I needed to be, to not only learn, but to heal my body and to develop a new operating system for my life. Powerful. So while I value freedom, and that's definitely in my top priority, my guiding star is to live a divinely guided life, to ask throughout the day, is this how God would direct me? And to choose, that goes with uplift, right? There's a song that kind of led me to this, and Oh, I just started thinking of Hawk Nelson's song. I got so many songs in my head. Oh, I actually have it on a notes page here. Let me find it. I should have had this up. He says, Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for, to be overcome by your presence, Lord. And it says, I will make room for you to do whatever you want to. That song, Make Room, was a real powerful one for me in 2022. I listened to 3 songs every morning. Hallelujah by Francesca Batta, or no, hang on. Let me find my God in Worship playlist from 2022. Thank God for technology. You can just go off script and have your things. Holy Spirit, that's the name of the song. Holy Spirit by Francesca Battistelli. Make Room by The Church Will Sing. And Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Those 3 songs were the 3 songs I listened to every morning in 2022 and throughout 2023. I varied my list a lot in 2023, just kind of adventuring through different songs. And now I'm back. I think that having that sequence is really powerful. So I invite you, your homework is, this is your new, instead of the New Year's resolution and goals, those things can stay, but we know shift will happen. We know there will be things that change on those goals and priorities. But the things that don't change is who you are. You get to choose who you want to be and choose the absolute best version of yourself that you were designed. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You've got brilliance within you waiting to be revealed this year. So what 3 words are the best of you and stretch you to be even better than you are today, so that when we meet again next year, you can share all that you've achieved? So I want to see those 3 words, and then your song list. At least one song that you're going to listen to every morning, because those songs have a vibrational frequency to lift you up, to shift your mood. If you wait till you feel like doing it, you'll never feel like doing it. And that's how you end up in the mediocre middle. If you're allowing what you feel like to determine the trajectory of your success, you will not be very successful, my friend. I want you to raise the elevation vibration of yourself. Elevate that vibration, uplift yourself. You need to assume personal responsibility and ownership of your life. No one is going to care more about your success, about your goals than you do. That's why you're the leader of your life. So your song list, and then what is your North Star question? So for me, when I face a challenge, is this how God would direct me? Is this how God would direct me? Is this how God would guide me? And I'm just asking myself that at every pivot point throughout my days, throughout my weeks, throughout the months. That, my friends, is your New Year's training. I want to share with you, to achieve your goals, these are the things you need. You need knowledge. I celebrate you for being here, because intellectual growth is the key to your success. So I want you to focus on gaining knowledge. You should be reading books. I got this book as a gift from a sweet child who I love so much. Thank you so much, my sweet Lillian. So I will confess to you, I rarely finish books. I read, I skim. Sometimes I'll pick up a book, skim the table of contents, study the footnotes and references in the back. And because I'm such a scholar, I know where their bodies of thought came from by who they cited. And I start to gain an understanding of the text before I've even read chapter 1. And then I skim through and I kind of get the gist and I move on. That's because I read nonfiction. I should say I don't read fiction books. So in nonfiction, you don't have to read cover to cover. But I decided I want to read, this sweet girl's reading this too. So I was like, I'm going to read this cover to cover. And I am so proud of myself. I have been disciplined. I just started 2 days ago and I'm on chapter 6. This is my time of year, so I'm with clients a lot right now. My dance card's incredibly full. So to be 6 chapters in is amazing celebration for myself. But the point is, make sure you are gaining knowledge. Position yourself in trainings like this one. Find people. You remember when you had that teacher you really loved? Find people you love being with and learn from them. Position them. Position yourself to be with them more often. That's what I did. I've done that over and over and over again. And that has made all the difference in the world. Support. You're not alone. One of the biggest problems we face is that we're strong and independent. And while we're strong and independent, we also have a lot of love and support from those around us. I saw that here in the country more than anything. Connection, to share authentically your challenges, your struggles, your voice, so that you can connect deeply. That gives others the opportunity to help you. And when they're helping you, they're experiencing some of the greatest joy of their lives. So let's shed that independence and I don't want to be a burden, so I'm not going to ask for help. Those are lies that we tell ourselves. We are designed to support others and to receive support. That's how we build deep connections and lives that are meaningful and fulfilling. Continuous coaching. You have to have a coach if you want to 4x your success. You can't do it alone. I hate to break it to you. I've tried, but having a coach, you will exceed 4x. Imagine yourself earning 4 times as much as you did last year. Imagine yourself sleeping 4 times better, eating 4 times better, exercising 4 times more often. Those things happen because of continuous coaching. You also need time with other game changers. Your environment matters so much. Where you position yourself to work, where you position yourself to hang out, where you position yourself within your family structure. Those environments shape who you are. And if you want to 4x or 10x, pick your number, your success, you need time with other game changers. And that's why I created the community for High Performance Leadership Academy, because I know we do better together. You also need to be seen and celebrated. It is important to be proud of what you've done. That is okay. And most importantly, you need a strategic plan and someone walking alongside you who's been there, done that, to help you put it in motion. And my favorite is to maximize the minutes you have. That'll help you win in every dimension of your life. I used to tell myself, I don't have time to meal prep and plan and do all the shopping. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. There's plenty of time. It's how we're using it. And so I've built out a greatest of all time, the GOAT day training. It's a design your day like the GOAT that comes with High Performance Leadership Academy. So for those of you who want to accept this very special invitation to join High Performance Leadership Academy as a founding member, we're kicking off January 8th, next Monday. You will get a private course membership area, $5,000 course created by yours truly, a live exclusive community and support, not just from myself, but from others, weekly group training. I charge $7,000 for this, and you're going to get it as a part of this package, 12 weeks of research-based high-performance training with a corresponding worksheet and homework assignment for you to help you implement the things that you're learning each week. That is included. Oh, whoops. I swapped these. High-performance leadership coaching training is like what we're doing now. You'll get that weekly live training with me, as well as coaching. I apologize. Access to the boardroom. This is a space. Have you ever been too afraid to take action in your career or in your business? Or there's those things you know you need to do, but you pause and procrastinate? The boardroom is a place where we share our commitment to getting things done. So all that it is you click the Zoom room, you join at the designated time. In 10 minutes, we go around and share what we're working on. Then we turn off our cameras and mics and we work hard for an hour and a half. Then we come back and report our celebrations. That comes back to the being seen, being intentional, holding ourselves accountable, practicing personal ownership and responsibility for our lives. My all-time favorite, finish strong, try, yay! That's a weekly wins call where we join together and we celebrate our wins of the week. Super important for that to be a part of our practice. And then your bonuses, high performance one-on-one strategy session. I've got one already scheduled for one of the world's highest performers. Shout out to Anne. I'm so excited to meet with you tomorrow. We are going to be spending some time diving deep into a strategic plan for her year ahead. I'm very excited about that. And as I mentioned, design the day like the greatest of all time. I've studied the way the greatest of all time design and architect their days. You're going to be surprised to plan your day around your period. That was new to me. You're going to be surprised to, I shouldn't say day, plan your month around your period. Plan the high intensity moments and the moments of extending grace to yourself. I like to say, know when to be fierce, when to be gentle. You're going to plan your calendar through your physical needs. Imagine that. Greatest of all time. That's what they do, my friends. You're also going to learn about the power of naps and resets and recharging. The greatest of all time include that in their days. How about that? And other secrets that will be revealed in that training. So I want to invite you to join this week. The total of this entire package that you would receive is over $30,000 of value. And you're going to get that for under $2,000. Think about that. That is the best investment you can make in yourself this year. Last year, I think I invested 38,000 in my learning. People always go, how do you do it? How do you do it? They think I'm doing it by myself. I'm not. I am surrounding myself with coaches who are extraordinary, with learning and experiences that are extraordinary. And that is what you have to do too. And I would be honored to be your guide through this year. So you got two choices. You can be in the mediocre middle, or pick your percent, commit to making this an extraordinary year, and be the greatest of all time. The first training, the high performance leadership training, High Performance Leadership Academy, will include various pop-up trainings. I'm constantly reading and consuming to share knowledge with you because I know you're busy. And so as I've been doing some work this year, preparing for New Year's, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be an incredible training. So I built it out. And then I thought, what do you call it? And I was like, well, it's not really reinvention. I'm not asking people to scrap everything, right? Like, let's say you're going to build a home, right? And you want to make the most amazing home for yourself. You don't go buy the dump, scrape it, rebuild, and then do all the interior design and decorating. That's not what you have to do. You can, that's definitely an option. But most of you think that's what you have to do to succeed, and it's not. The foundation's good. The frame's good. All we're going to do is some interior design redesign, right? So that as I thought about that, I thought, this isn't entire reinvention. These are just little edits. And I love the home edit. I wish I'd created that idea. Maybe Extraordinary Life Edit could be a show and we go and just edit little parts of our lives and our routines. Wouldn't that be fun? Anyone want to co-host with me? So the Extraordinary Life Edit is really all about the small fine-tuning things you can do from psychology, behavioral analysis, neuroscience. All will look together at your life, and I'll give you the little tweaks that you need to make to maximize success. We don't need to make it quite as hard as we do, right? We start making the list of all these things we're going to change, and they require high degrees of effort, and then we can't sustain that effort, and then we beat ourselves up. And so let's choose instead to the scripture says God delights in the details of your lives and directs the steps. It doesn't say directs the entire master plan. So I was like, okay, I need to make things as simple as possible. As I was reading that scripture, it came to me and I thought, it's just edits. It's these small, James Clear would call it habit stacking, right? And so we're going to identify, where do you need to start? And then I'm going to provide the support and encouragement along the way to check in to make sure you're doing it, because we all do better when we have that favorite teacher of ours guiding us along the way. So that training will be Thursday, January 11th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, live on Zoom with yours truly. That's a pop-up training that is part of High Performance Leadership Academy. If you're ready to enroll and make this year extraordinary, go to the website is go.drjea.com. So go.drj.com/high-performance. I cannot wait to see you there. And I'm also going to be putting together this fast action bonus for you. It is 3 morning rituals for high performance. I call it Rise and Thrive. I've tried the Miracle Morning. I've tried all of Hal Elrod's savers: silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading and scribing. That's a lot for a busy woman in the morning. I don't know how people do it. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm a single mom and I'm writing a book, launching a business, beating cancer, homeschooling my daughter. That was last year. This year, she's going to be in brick and mortar. So that's off my plate. But still, there's a lot that comes to parenting and supporting the development of a child. That's my top priority. Engaging in extraordinary relationships, launching my book into the world in March, building out programs and curriculum and coaching. Those things require a lot of time. So to go through savers every morning, I'm not quite sure. I've tried and tried and tried. When I started, I really loved the silence S. So Hal, if you get this, keep that part for sure. Because I love laying in bed in silence and feeling like I'm doing something and achieving something. So I created my own 3-step ritual, and it does include getting to indulge in laying in bed for just a little while to set the stage for the day. So for those of you who get signed up this week before Monday, you will get my fast action bonus, Rise and Thrive, 3 morning rituals for high performance. With that, my friends, happy New Year. I cannot wait to see and hear about what you achieve this year. This is a year to choose to be extraordinary. Amidst challenge is when we gain the most strength. Smooth seas do not build strong sailors. So for us to gain strength, we have to embrace the challenges that come our way. Seek to find what is it that we're intended to learn in this moment. And we're all just on our own journey, evolving a little bit each day. So quit comparing yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to your sister, to your brother, to your best friend, to the person in the office that you admire, to that influencer on social media. That's not what you were designed to do. That's what. Focus instead, gain clarity on who. Clarity on who leads to what? Courageous action. Courageous action gives you more clarity. More clarity gives you more courageous action. Over and over and over, you will become confident in pursuing your dreams, confident in reaching out and extending help to those in need, confident for preparing for promotion. That's what I want for you. And with this, I leave you with loads of blessings, sending you the absolute best of my heart, all of my love, adventure, and surrender to you as we uplift and be the rising tide that raises all ships this year. With that, go out and shine your love and light into the world, brilliant beauties. I'll see you next Thursday at 9 for live training in this group. And look forward to seeing you next week. The way that High Performance Leadership Academy is kicking off is with a 5-day personal challenge that will arrive in your inbox Sunday. So get ready. This is going to be the year of extraordinary. Let's go, friends. Happy New Year.